Empathy map made simple. Imagine your team wants to improve the school canteen. Before coming up with solutions, your team interviews students to understand their experiences. After several interviews, you end up with pages and pages of notes. Some students complain about the long queues. Others say they don't have enough time to eat. Some even skip lunch altogether. You have collected plenty of data, but now comes the difficult part. How do you make sense of all this information? That's where an empathy map comes in. Start with your user in the center. Then, organize your interview findings into 4 quadrants: says, thinks, does, and feels. Let's look at each quadrant. First, what does the student say? Put what he says into the says quadrant. This is the easiest quadrant because you are simply recording the user's own words. As much as possible, use direct quotes from the interview. For example, the queue is always too long. I barely have enough time to finish my lunch. If you are not able to capture the exact words, it is fine. Just write down the key points from the interview. Next, what does the student do? Put these observations into the does quadrant. There are 2 types of behaviors you can include. First, what the student did during the experience he described. For example, yesterday, I looked at the queue, turned around, and bought a snack instead. Second, what you observed during the interview. Perhaps they gestured excitedly or smiled while talking. These observations can reveal things that words alone may not. Now, what is the student thinking? Put your inferences into the thinks quadrant. These are thoughts the student may never say out loud. Instead, infer them from everything you've heard and observed. For example, if I queue any longer, I'll be late for class. Lunch just isn't worth the hassle. Finally, how does the student feel? Put their emotions into the feels quadrant. Perhaps they're frustrated, anxious, or disappointed. Congratulations, you've completed your empathy map. Now, your team has a shared visualization of your user. But what if you interviewed 10 students? Does that mean you need 10 empathy maps? Not necessarily. If several interviewees share similar experiences, start clustering similar points together and identify common themes. You can then create a single empathy map that represents a group of users with similar needs and behaviors. It helps everyone on the team develop a common understanding of the people they're designing for and make better design decisions together. Remember, an empathy map isn't about filling in for boxes. It's about turning interview data into shared understanding. Because great solutions don't start with assumptions. They start with people. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel for more ideas, stories, and practical insights on innovation. And don't forget to click the bell icon so you'll never miss a future video.